Hello, good evening everyone. Welcome along to the Swansea.com stadium here in Landor. We are in South Wales tonight for live action from the third round of the Carabao Cup as 2013 winners Swansea City of the Championship host four-time winners Nottingham Forest of the Premier League in what is Ange Postecoglou's second game in charge of the club. After the first of 4 nights of third round action, there are already passages into the last 16, with Brentford and Crystal Palace progressing on penalties yesterday, while Grimsby dumped out Sheffield Wednesday on their own patch as they grabbed yet another scalp as their run continues. But who will join them here tonight? Swansea have already beaten Crawley Town and Plymouth Argyle here at home to set up this tie tonight. And after a solid start to their league campaign, head coach Alan Sheehan will be hoping that a changed Forest side might be the leveller that they need here tonight. Winners of this competition just over 12 years ago, they've only got to the 4th round of this cup twice since then, most recently back in 2017-18. So their fans have been starved of League Cup success. It was also a success they thought they'd have here at the weekend, but a goal deep into added time meant that Hull took a share of the points here in the Championship. Different conditions here tonight. Nottingham Forest still adjusting to life under their new boss Ange Postecoglou, who saw his team comfortably beaten at Arsenal on Saturday lunchtime. It's certainly going to be a different way of playing under the Australian to Nuno Espirito Santo's counter-attacking game before him, but the fans are more than likely to enjoy the ride. He said in his pre-match press conference that tonight was an opportunity to give chances to many of their new signings, and he's been good to his word as well. With their Europa League campaign set to start next week, this is their first game in the competition, which they last won some 35 years ago as they overcame Oldham Athletic in the final. Tonight a chance to start another run, and it's their first appearance in round 3 since they reached the semi-finals in 2022-23 when they eventually lost to Manchester United. So they haven't had a great run either in recent times. Delighted to say, watching alongside me for this one tonight is the former Watford, Reading, Crystal Palace and Jamaica defender Adrian Mariappa. Adrian, good evening. 2 change sides here tonight. Who do you make the favourites?
I mean, the favourite's always going to be the Premier League side, even though they're away from home. A lot of changes, but, you know, so much firepower in that team and so much excitement. Obviously, the way Postecoglou wants to play as well. Like you said before, we expect to see some big changes tactically, but, you know, Swansea are in a good place at the moment. They're being really hard to beat, and they're in good form, so makes for a really interesting tie.
And for Ange Postecoglou, who's taken his place in the technical area early here, what do you think he'll be thinking a few days into his reign at the City Ground? Beaten 3-0 at Arsenal at the weekend, a chance for a refreshed side here tonight to do something different.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned before about him giving chances to the new signings. He'll be trying to look at all the players he has available, who can adapt to the way that he wants to play and, you know, his style, his philosophy. He'd have been trying to embed that over the last few days, and, you know, he'll be looking to see that come out tonight.
Brian Yates standing at the front of the queue here for Nottingham Forest. He's the only one left in the Forest squad, actually, who played in the Championship for them. It's been a massive turnover in recent years for Forest. Swansea looking a different side these days as well. The only game in the Carabao Cup tonight here in South Wales in the pouring rain as well. Swansea City sitting 7th in the Championship, 5 games into their season, taking on Nottingham Forest, who have won just once in 4 Premier League games so far this season. Opportunities for new signings to arrive right at the end of the transfer window. An opportunity to maybe win a first team place. An opportunity for both teams to go through to the 4th round of the competition. Well, let's take you to the team news here at the Swansea.com stadium. The home side makes 6 changes from the team that drew here with Hull on Saturday. Andy Fisher has been their cup goalkeeper this season and replaces Chile international Lawrence Vigouroux. Ishe Samuel-Smith makes his debut, with Caelan Casey also coming into the back line. Manuel Benson also makes his first Swansea appearance out wide. Om starts to continue his run of having played in every game this season, Well, as a first start for former Celtic striker Adam Eder, with Jan Vipotnik dropping to the bench. Former Forest man Marko Stamenic is out injured and misses this one. Nottingham Forest have made 10 changes to the side that played against Arsenal, with only Morato remaining. There are debuts for goalkeeper John Victor, Alexander Zinchenko and Douglas Luiz, while Dylan Bakwa, Nicolas Savona, Amari Hutchinson and Igor Jesus make their first starts for the club. Sells, Williams, Milenkovic, Murillo, Anderson and Wood have all been left at home as Postecoglou looks to manage the minutes of those who did a fair amount of travelling in the international break just gone. James McAtee, one of those players the Forest fans will be looking forward to seeing this season. A big money fee he arrived for from Manchester City, but a man who has undoubted quality in that number 10 role.
Yeah, certainly. He's an exciting player, and I think it bodes well, you know, the forward players that Forest had, you know, last season. Elanga running forward, you know, with that pace. Morgan Gibbs-White. You know, there's a lot of flair in the team. Hudson-Odoi, and now, you know, McAtee adding to that. Amari Hutchinson as well. You know, they've got a lot of options. So, you know, Postecoglou mentioned about playing for places and giving people opportunities. And, you know, this is one today, even though it's against a championship side, you know, these guys out here will be wanting to take that to then get their places in the league.
The final chat for this change Forest side. And perhaps a more fulsome crowd than might have been expected. The rain has been swirling around here for the last couple of hours now. The pitch in perfect condition, but it could be a slippy one. Alan Sheehan, the man in charge here at Swansea these days, and has been since February when he replaced Luke Williams. Has a good record so far. We're already just a little bit ahead of time here, so Bobby Ladley, tonight's referee, is just keeping the players waiting. It's Championship against Premier League here in Wales, as Ange Postecoglou takes charge of Forest for the second time, searching for his first win. Swansea City have started their campaign well under former Notts County player Alan Sheehan, and are chasing a scalp against one of the sides in Europe this season. Both teams in their traditional home colours for this one. Swansea in the white, hoping it'll be all right on the night for them. Casey on loan from West Ham, sending this one long. Picked up there for Forest by Douglas Luiz, who's on loan from Juventus. Very quickly taken there. Swansea thought they might have a chance, but Forest have seen them off.
Yeah, Swansea definitely started bright there. I mean, they didn't have kickoff, but they went and got the ball back straight away. Had a good little bit of possession, and then yeah, tried to catch Nottingham Forest asleep with the throw there, trying to get him behind.
The games in this round of the competition this season spread across 2 weeks, owing to the expanded nature of the UEFA club competitions these days. The Europa League getting underway next week, which is why Forest had to play this. Same with Aston Villa, who took on Brentford last night at the G-Tech, but were knocked out on penalties. Crystal Palace went through against Millwall in a feisty all-London affair. Swansea fans won't have good memories of their recent games against Forest, the last of which came in April 2022. Forest hammered them 5-1 at the City Ground, and on their last visit here, put 4 past them as well. It's a free kick for the foul on Yates, who I think knew the challenge was coming. He touched it short to Morato alongside Willy Bolly tonight, a rare chance for the Ivorian. Galbraith. Excitement when the Northern Irishman picked up the ball there from the home fans. Well, unbeaten in 3 played here in the league so far this season. Nearly short. Igor Jesus was giving chase. Fisher. Burgess, the captain, just about got away with it there. And a hand up in apology from him.
just a little slip, but it's the first little mistake that Swansea have made. They've had a real bright start. It's only 2 minutes into the game, but they've already settled down. They've got control of the game, it seems. You know, you mentioned earlier about, you know, the past results, but you know, at the moment they're the brighter of the two teams. How they've started. Forest, a lot of changes. I think they just want to, you know, settle some nerves down. They need to just get a hold of the ball, have a few touches, and build their way into the game. But Swansea so far started really bright at home.
Yeah, contrasting seasons so far for these two. Swansea lost their season opener away at Rob Edwards Middlesbrough back at the start of August, but have been unbeaten in all competitions since then, with wins in the league here against Sheffield United and on the road at Sheffield Wednesday, the two bottom sides in the Championship. Well, Nottingham Forest started their Premier League campaign with a 3-1 win against Brentford, but winless since then, drawing away to Palace and losing 3-0 to both West Ham and Arsenal in their last two games. In by the Korean, by Douglas Luiz, who just dropped in there to help. Zinchenko in this Forest side here tonight as well. He was ineligible for the game against his parent club Arsenal at the weekend, so a delayed start to his Forest career. And he's given chase here.
Yeah, we've seen already, he's just rolling into that inside position that he likes to do from left back. We've seen it many a time at Man City and Arsenal. And he's just sitting in there and sitting in the midfield at the moment, opening up that space wide. Douglas Luiz dropping out.
There is Douglas Luiz, back to Bolly. I think the question, Adrian, that everyone's wondering is, how do you go from such a conservative approach under someone like Nuno, who was more than happy and unashamedly set up to play counter-attacking football, to Ange Postecoglou, who had his critics for being too gung-ho while at Spurs?
It literally is two polar opposite ways of playing, isn't it? And you know, we've seen it time and time again. You know, I think Palace, you know, started the season last year trying to change the way that they play. You know, they're very much a counter-attacking side as well. And when you've recruited for those, you know, to play that style of football, it can be difficult to adapt. So it will be interesting to see how the players take on Postecoglou's ideas, because, you know, like I said there before, it's a totally new way of playing. It's totally different, especially from a way which really worked for this Forest side and these Forest players.
Douglas Luiz trying to force it in between the lines there, looking for Igor Jesus, who was signed from Botafogo for £10 million in July. Forest do have a number of Brazilians in their squad here tonight. 6 in total. 4 in the starting 11. Bolly. To Nicolo Savona. Yates. It's given away, and Om is on the charge here. He's got a free run and can go for goal. Spinning behind off Morata. Swansea have the game's first corner.
They look bright, Swansea. Catching Forest again. Forest just look a little bit asleep. They've started too slow. And Swansea just catching them on the break. On with a great drive forward. You know, he'd have wanted that shot just to probably curl into the corner, but they'll take the set piece for now.
Forest set up zonally here. Adam Ida, Cameron Burgess both making their way into threatening positions. But they're working back instead to Galbraith. Too many bodies in the way.
A lot of bodies to get through, but it was a cleverly worked corner. Just finding Galbraith, who's been brilliant for this Swansea side this season. There's too many bodies to get through.
So it's a Swansea throw. Be taken here by Josh Key. It's it back from Ida. it goes off Ida, who swapped the hustle and bustle of Glasgow up in Scotland, and one of the biggest clubs, really, certainly support-wise in European football, you'd say, in a team like Celtic, for South Wales and Swansea this season. He only spent one full season up there, but did win the Scottish Cup with them. Jean-Victor just got it away in time.
They are taking a few chances, Forest. You know, they're trying to play out, they're trying to build through the thirds. The Swansea side are really ratting about, not letting them settle.
Ball there wasn't quite right for Dylan Bakwa. Signing at the start of September from Strasbourg. Yates. Taken off his toe there by Galbraith, who then proceeded to take it out of play. So a throw to be taken here by Nicolo Savona. Well, he used to play on the other side of the Trent, did Alan Sheehan, to Nottingham Forest with Notts County. Played in their League Cup round 1 game against Forest at the City Ground back in 2011. An entertaining 3-3 draw. They ended up losing on penalties. A fixture that isn't played competitively all that often. The two have been in different divisions for many, many a year. Bolly. Jean-Victor taking his time again.
Yeah, you can see he's very relaxed on the ball. Like I said, takes his time. He's confident. Swansea really still ratting around.
Bakwa. Savona. Two in the middle, including Igor Jesus, who asked for it early.
That patient build-up finally paying off for Forest. They're able to get themselves in that final third and now build a little bit of momentum.
And they've got their first corner. Savona showing that he's keen to race up and down that line. Only 22 years old, but has a fair amount of experience with Juventus already. Douglas Luiz with this corner. He's been an unused substitute in their last 3 games, but finally makes his Forest bow tonight. In by the Brazilian. Taken away by Caelan Casey. McAtee. Hutchinson. A European Championship winner with England at under-21 level in the summer.
He's a talented player, Hutchinson.
Zinchenko, Yates, Igor Jesus back to goal. And he's done really well to wriggle away. He was in towards Douglas Luiz, who was the furthest man forward there for Forest. Certainly been an open game so far. Long may that continue. Free kick here to the home side.
Yeah, now this is what Forest want. They're just settling into their possession, building some good pressure. Davies just wriggles away from a couple of players there, flashes it across the front of the box, just needing a touch in. But he does really well here, just to get through everyone. In the end, a good little toe defended.
He didn't have a huge goal record to speak of in his time in Brazil. Mainly did well in the Middle East with Al Ahly in Dubai. Scored 14 in 19 for them the season before last, and also had a record of 1 in 2 a couple of years previously. But went back to Brazil for just over a season with Botafogo, having previously represented with Curitiba. Bolly to Morato. Lovely ball there into Yates. Hutchinson urged the take on Key. Still Amari Hutchinson. Just tried to lift it in there with a little bit of height, and it's blocked behind for another Forest corner.
Yeah, they're growing into the game now, Forest. If they can get Amari Hutchinson 1v1, get him the ball early so he can run at the fullback, you know, that's where they're going to get success in this game. And you know, he's showing that now. That's the second time they've managed to get him on the ball and something's come of it.
Yates trying to organise those around him. Water dripping from every body limb at the moment. It's that kind of night here. Hammered in, headed on by Savona. No chance there as it dropped. Fisher there for Swansea.
Defended well there, but you know, I think Forest, they do fancy themselves on the set pieces by the looks of it. You know, they're quite a big side.
Dropping in. His efforts appreciated here by the home crowd. They would have taken a real soaking getting here as well. It's a good 20 or 25-minute walk out of the town centre here. Very much the kind of night to be driving up to the game instead. Zinchenko with this throw. It was into Igor Jesus who dropped in there. Well, Swansea are going to be closing down Jean-Victor a lot here, given the way he started in this game. Bakwa. Firm but fair challenge there by Burgess, or maybe not. The referee plays the advantage. Hutchinson. Douglas Luiz in the box again. Hutchinson might not need him. Where's that going? Still a chance, and it's in. Igor Jesus with his first Nottingham Forest goal fires the Premier League side in front here in Wales. They've started to knock on the door in the last few minutes, and the Brazilian able to come up with the finish in what was a bit of a scrappy move at the end.
Tidy finish from Jesus, but the move starts with the keeper. Really calm again. They just play through Swansea, play through their press, and they get the ball out to Murray Hutchinson again. Get him 1v1, just said it earlier, and he's looking dangerous. He cuts inside. There's a good block in the end, but Jesus alive in the box, hits the ball on a half volley, hits the target, gets his reward.
Igor Jesus' last goal came as a winning goal for Botafogo against Paris Saint-Germain in the Club World Cup. Out at the Rose Bowl in the summer. He's had quite the time of it, and that surely will be a confidence boost for him. He's been busy in this game so far, and he's got the opening goal.
That'll definitely settle a few nerves of, you know, any nerves that those new Forest lads would have had. That'll settle them down. They've grown into the game. You know, the keeper definitely nice and calm in possession. It was a great bit of play just through the thirds. A few passes out to Hutchinson, 1v1. We know how dangerous he is.
Forest happy to reset. And again, it came from that left channel you were talking about, getting Hutchinson the ball. And it looks like an area where they could do further damage here tonight.
Yeah, and this is the thing, when Swansea, obviously, they pressed early on, did really well, won the ball back a few times. They didn't quite get the press right. Forest managed to play through. You're going to leave, you know, somewhere on the pitch, people are going to be 1v1. And Murray Hutchinson, he's got that space to go at you 1v1. He's a tough customer because he can go down the line, he can go inside. You know, on that occasion, he cuts inside, gets his shot away, and strikers are alive in the box.
The first goal of the Ange Postecoglou era, scored by a man who'll do really well to get in the team, you would imagine, given the exploits of Chris Wood over the last couple of years at the City Ground. Not even here in the squad tonight. The New Zealander left at home. Those who haven't travelled did have a training session just down the road from the stadium at their training grounds earlier this morning. So they have been ticking over, but Postecoglou keen to keep them fresh for their weekend game away at Burnley, which is a big one for them.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be keen to get in as many training sessions as he can, because you know, he'll want to bed in his ideas, and you can even see this Forest team, just how they're pushing up the pitch, and probably not quite as high as that Spurs side of last season. You know, not having Mickey van der Ven at centre-half, who's obviously so quick. But they are squeezing up the pitch, something that we've become accustomed to Ange Postecoglou's teams. and they're very comfortable on the ball here. You know, they're enjoying the lion's share of possession now. Swansea having to sit into a deeper shape, which we know they can do as well from how they've played in the league as well.
Well, a lovely touch there by Bakwa initially, but less so from McAtee, something we don't see from him too often. It's going to be a squad game for Forest this season. They've got the Europa League campaign to come, which is so exciting for them, and they could be in again here with another chance. Hutchinson blocked. Igor Jesus trying to pick up the scraps. And Kuye there for Swansea. They were just starting to look a little bit shaky out there as Forest apply the pressure once again.
And Forest getting caught themselves, Swansea getting caught themselves in possession there. It's a great threaded pass there by Jesus. Hutchinson wriggles away from the defender. Shot away in his left foot, but good block in the end. But they are just starting to look a bit more dangerous as this game's going. Swansea now they've lost that foothold that they gained at the start of the game. Having to sit in, soak up a bit of pressure, which they probably knew they'd have to do anyway. But this here now, you see their strikers going, they're trying to go and press. But Forest do look really comfortable in possession at the back now.
Yeah, a lot more comfortable tonight than they have done in this competition in recent times. They've lost their last 4 games in the League Cup, if you include one defeat that they had on penalties as well. The last time they progressed was actually on penalties as they overcame Wolves in a quarter-final tie back in 2023. But they have so much to look forward to this season, Forest. They're in Seville next week to take on Real Betis. They've got Midtjylland and Porto coming to the City Ground before they go to Austria to play Sturm Graz. And it's a home game against Malmö, and then trips to the Netherlands and Portugal for Utrecht and Braga before Ferencváros come to town at the end of January, now coached by Robbie Keane. Here's Douglas Luiz. He's setting his stall out to get in English football after previous time with Aston Villa. Bolly. Douglas Luiz. Making things look so effortless, but couldn't find Bakwa. Just about edged out there by Gonzalo Franco. Burgess. Samuel Smith, who's had an interesting summer. Chelsea sold him to Strasbourg in July, but he ended up just staying there for 22 days before he went back to Chelsea on a permanent deal and then joined Swansea on loan for the season. Igor Jesus couldn't get there. Swansea now with a chance to express themselves. Here's Ji-sung. Galbraith. Benson. They had such a good time in English football with Burnley getting promoted to the Premier League before they didn't really use him in the top flight under Vincent Kompany and came straight back down. John Victor had that one covered. But a first real sighter for the Swans, but it goes comfortably wide of goal.
Yeah, the 2 good moments Swansea have had going forward have both come from He's just picking up those positions, just rolling in off that left. He fancies it on his...
And from Brighton for the season. Benson. This is better here from Swansea. You have it now with Burgess. There's Postecoglou's fellow countryman. Samuel Smith. Kuye. Galbraith. Kuye. Samuel Smith just couldn't quite catch up with that one there in the end. He's an England under-19 international. His twin brother Odin is at Everton at the moment, making his debut here tonight for Swansea.
It was a good run from the left back, just skid off the surface, just away from him there. That surface water just proving a little bit of a problem, but Swansea just getting a foothold back in the game, enjoying a bit of possession with the ball. Forest happy to sit in a lower to mid block there.
Borderline foul throw. Probably should have been a foul throw from Savona. Ida. First. Ida having to put the extra legwork in there because of the water that's soaked into this surface. Morato out. It's the air from McAtee. Samuel Smith to Yakuye. And he's still only 19 years old. Bit of a nudge there, but no foul. First 25 minutes has flown by here. Key. Benson. Really well initially there in such a tight area, but Zinchenko nips in. The side able to hold on to the ball. Yakuye shoved in the back by Yates. And that will be a free kick.
Yeah, I think Yates got caught wrong side of his man, but could turn out to be a good foul. The Swansea were on the break there, and like they'd done at the start of the game, they were just patient with their press, caught Forest as they're playing out, and then just going straight at the back four there. So Yates in the end had to bring his man down, and he's letting the man just run straight at the back four, looking to slip someone in.
Pat on the back of the referee suggests that no card is coming. I think some of the Swansea fans were asking for a bit of disciplinary action there. I mean, if you're going to push someone in the back, then a yellow card probably should come.
Yeah, I'm not someone who likes the cards being dished out, but I think he's got away with one there just because of where Yakuye was driving. He was driving straight at the centre halves.
If it's the shirt pull, then the referee is certainly going to his pocket, isn't he? So I think Swansea certainly had cause for complaint there.
Yeah, Yates, he certainly knew what he was doing. He got caught wrong side. Poor pass from Omari Hutchinson. He just had to trip him up.
A free kick just within shooting range here for the Swans. Taking the mud from his studs. But Manuel Benson looks the favourite. Only his second appearance of the season here tonight. His only other was playing for his country, Angola, against Mauritius in the last couple of weeks. Leaves it. Benson bangs it, but bangs it high.
Looked like he went for a knuckleball technique or something there, but yeah, I am surprised Om didn't take it. He looks like he's fancied himself from range. So far this evening, he's had a couple of shots that have come pretty close.
That Forest triangle just about works out. I think John Victor, or John as he's sometimes just known, is probably going to be a fun goalkeeper to watch. We've just lost Andre Onana in this country, and it looks like he might well be taking his place.
Yeah, he is as calm as you like. I do wonder how the Forest fans will see that though when they're playing at home.
On the charge, Yakuye takes over. Doesn't quite have the strength there to force it through. It's a free kick here for handball. Says that it was on his shoulder. Referee Bobby Madley disagreed. Swansea are behind here, but for the moment at least have Forest sat in their own half.
Yeah, this game's ebbed and flowed, but Swansea just got themselves, got their foothold back in the game now. They're building up a bit of pressure, a bit of momentum, a couple of set pieces, a few shots at goal. you know, pushing that Forest team back, starting to win the ball on the press as well. You know, Forest not getting through them as they were, you know, a little bit earlier on in the half. You know, managed to nick it, catch them on the break.
Leaves this one as well. Benson with a better ball in this time. And Kuye urged to hammer it, which he tried. Certainly not a lot to him. He's a fairly slight player, isn't he? But gets around in midfield.
Yeah, he's looked really bright. He's got so much energy.
Look at him here against Willy Boly, the size difference between the two. Ida, Zinchenko, only as far here as Burgess. Samuel Smith. Kuye, Kuye goes down! Well, referee Bobby Madley doesn't even react to the challenge. Talked about the size difference between Boly and Kuye a second ago. And the two going in for a 50-50 there as the challenges start to fly in, but Swansea feel they should have had a penalty. Screaming here at the referee. And a yellow card now being shown.
Yeah, I think
Galbraith goes into the book.
Yeah, Gally, I think he knew what he was doing there. You know, it's a really strong challenge from him coming. And he slides in, uses the surface, stops the breakaway for Forest. You know, probably a little bit of frustration as well. He'd have felt that he had a penalty in. To be fair, he's probably got half a case here.
I think when he's touched the ball inside like that, then sent totally off balance. Surely more than a case. Boly doesn't get anything on the ball at all.
Yeah, he's definitely got away with there. Got away with one, Boly. I'm usually on the defender's side here, but I can't defend him on that one. You know, we talked about the size difference. I think the referees probably thought they've just come together, and that size difference was why he went flying. But you can see there, he's just pretty much taken him out. He's missed the ball.
Boly was a favourite under Nuno in his time at Wolves and had him at Forest as well, but only made 6 appearances last season. This is first appearance of 25-26. I like a few of these players out here tonight, maybe a tad rusty. The game is now sped up. Forest still leading thanks to Igor Jesus' first goal for the club. Well, an experienced referee, Championship level now and previously Premier League level as well, Bobby Madley. Had a fairly good view of this from a reasonably similar angle to which we look at that replay from. And you can see where the referee is there as well. Does Boly nick it with the studs or not?
I can't see. It looks like a penalty to me. Kuye, you know, he's going through there. And Boly his leg comes across both his legs.
Even if he does nick it with the studs, he's still barged the Swansea man to the ground afterwards, hasn't he, after he got a significant touch on it.
He stops him going through there, and yeah, that's one the referee's definitely got wrong in my opinion.
Benson. Wonderful whip ball in, Jean-Victor has lost it. He's got it again now. And a quick ball out here into McAtee. Bakwa. Boly. Well, Matt Sells is the undisputed #1 at Forest these days, and I think the Brazilian goalkeeper has definitely come in to sit on the bench, certainly initially. Yates. Savannah. Samuel Smith back forward. Douglas Luiz. Ida. Burgess. Swansea yet to have a shot on target in the game. In fact, the goal for Forest was the only shot on target for either side so far.
We've had a few shots from outside the area, some good blocks, but a lot of the play just being between the two penalty areas at the moment. Swansea doing all of their good work on the counter-attack, and they have looked bright, building back into the game. They're forcing Forest back, and they're just trying to regain their foothold. And if they do, you know, Zinchenko will have a big part in that. See him rolling into midfield here, trying to create that overload, giving Hutchinson that 1v1 wide.
Saw a glimpse there of Alan Sheehan, who's had an interesting journey in his coaching career so far. He was the assistant head coach here under Michael Duff, and then caretaker following his departure. Then under Luke Williams as well, he served and got his pro licence in June of last year while working under Williams, and again was caretaker after Williams left in February. He got the job until the end of the season. Got 5 consecutive wins in April, their best run in nearly 20 years, and then got himself a 3-year deal as manager. Impressed the powers that be here, the Irishman.
Yeah, he's had a good start to the season, and that little penalty shout there, I know he'll be on the sideline, he'll be fuming about that. It was great link-up play. Yakuye, they've looked really bright in this game so far.
Swansea have failed to win any of their last 4 games when they've gone behind in the League Cup. And since they overcame Northampton back in August of 2019. They'll have to try and buck that trend here tonight. Samuel Smith getting on with things. Gonçalo Franco, the Portuguese, back here to key. Burgess. Samuel Smith. Yakuye. Burgess, Yakuye did well to readjust there. So excellent close control. Came from Gothenburg actually in Swedish football to Brighton, a club whose recruitment very rarely misses. He was away at Sturm Graz last season out in the Austrian Bundesliga and has another loan here at Swansea this season. Brighton, I'm sure, will have his future mapped out already.
Yeah, he's definitely looking like a good player. He's shown a lot of his qualities here.
Benson. And a shot on target for Swansea. Not too much trouble there for Jean Victor.
Even though Forest are getting penned back a little bit, you know, they're still restricting Swansea to shots from outside the area. I'm not sure Benson will... he looked like he fancied himself from that distance. It was disappointing with how the shot connected.
Gonçalo Franco. Hutchinson manages to do his part to help it to Yates. Savona, McAtee, Bakwa. It's been a fairly even game, really, apart from the goal that Forest scored and the period of pressure they have before it.
Both teams have actually been comfortable to sit in a low block at times. You know, let the other team have a little bit of possession at the back, and then try and press and go on the counter-attack. They've both been happy to do that. So Swansea just limited so far to shots from outside the area, even though they have been bright. You know, Samuel Smith down this left-hand side as well has looked really good.
Douglas Luiz, sorry, into Igor Jesus. Hutchinson. Forest thought they were going to get the throw, but it's a Swansea ball.
Yeah, Key's just got to grips of of that 1v1 battle with Hutchinson, especially the last 15-20 minutes.
Galbraith. Samuel Smith. Towards Ida, who's keen to put himself about. Sent Bolly sprawling. Savannah. Bakwa. First real chance for him to express himself down this side, and he's done that. Samuel Smith trying to get back against him, but Bakwa's beaten him. Somehow it goes wide off the boot of McAtee.
Commentator's curse. I was just saying how well Samuel Smith was doing. Bakwa does really well there. Brushes him off. McAtee will be disappointed with that. It does come at him really fast, but just doesn't get the connection that he'd want. You know, comes off his heel, I think. Yeah, and I think a player of his caliber, even though it does come quick at him, I think he'll be disappointed with that.
Is that concentration?
I don't get in that position often, so I couldn't tell you. But yeah, I think maybe a little bit of rust, or yeah, I'm not going to say concentration, but just the execution just wasn't quite there. It's a slippy surface, and the ball was pinged at him, you know, pretty hard.
He's come on in the last 3 games as McAtee. His first opportunity to shine from the start here. Here he is again. He gives the ball away. Galbraith. 4.5 minutes left of normal time in the first half. Burgess. And Kuye. Trying to be clever. Igor Jesus trying to get past him. Nearly stands on his head. A few tasty challenges going in at times. Alan Shearer not particularly happy. And this is why.
Kuye just trying to be probably a bit too clever there.
Oh, but now Savannah. Forrest looking for another, and Keed as well, just to tuck it behind. He wasn't quite sure where the danger was coming from, but not prepared to take a chance.
Yeah, well defended. So there, no risk. You know, he checked over his shoulder earlier, saw Murray Hutchinson coming in at that back post. Just clear it away.
Nottingham Forest corner. Their third of this first half. Bolly up there, Morato, Savannah. And it comes towards Bolly. Igor Jesus. McAtee nonchalantly back in, but a push spotted in there by referee Bobby Madley, and it's a free kick to Swansea.
Forest, even though they're a big side, Swansea defended really well in those set pieces all first half.
I don't know if something's been said here, but the referee asking for Swansea to wait until he's had a word here with Dylan Bakwa. Kuye being pulled in as well. Trying to assert his authority. They're too keen to get away and get on with things here. The referee hadn't finished his lecture.
We want a little bit of fire to these games anyway. You know, it has been like that. Been a few tackles flying in. You know, the surface does bode well for a slide tackle.
Well, Swansea do have a good home record here. They haven't lost since mid-March, when soon-to-be promoted Burnley came and took the points. Would have got a win here against Hull on Saturday, but John Egan scored in the 7th minute of added time to take a point back to Humberside for the Tigers. Zinchenko. McAtee. Bakwa. They get bodies in the box, Forest, when they get into these positions. Bakwa. McAtee. Towards Douglas Luiz, who was in there again, who got the final touch. The referee deciding it went off the Brazilian. It's a goal kick to Swansea. Douglas Luiz. Forest is starting to show their Premier League class again in this. Yates quickly into Savannah.
Yeah, Swansea been a little bit wasteful the last few passes out of defence. Forest just showing that Premier League quality, especially Douglas Luiz in there. You know, getting his foot on the ball, showing his strength there as well. You know, that header from the cross as well, a little bit more belief. I think he gets his head on it. That's why his head is in his hands after.
Savannah. Bolly. Might be a commanding centre-half, but actually quite a shy character off the field. Doesn't like the limelight too much, doesn't do social media. Savannah, beautifully weighted into McAtee, coming in Hutchinson, and Igor Jesus finishes off a wonderful Nottingham Forest move. They lead by 2-0, and that was a touch of class.
Oh, that was outstanding football from back to front. Zinchenko rolling inside, great bit of build-up play. But this touch here from McAtee, superb. Great touch round the corner. Sprints into the space. Hutchinson, very unselfish as well. Gets himself at the back post, sprints in. Happy to get the assist there for a striker. Could have been selfish, could have gone for goal. But showed great maturity there.
2 Nottingham Forest goals for Igor Jesus in a fruitful first half for the Reds. People often talk about the pre-assist as well, but that ball from McAtee, whose touch has been off a couple of times tonight. If Hutchinson wasn't going to shoot, he was going to play it across, and it was a delightful ball into his path. And that, the last action of the first half, and a killer blow really for Swansea, right on the stroke of half-time. Igor Jesus with his first 2 goals for Nottingham Forest. There was a worrying moment for them as well, because Willy Bolly could well have conceded a penalty. The referee, Bobby Madley, decided not to award for a trip, as it seemed to be, on Malik Yokuye. A long way back here for Swansea, but Forest a long way towards round 4 of the League Cup this season. At half-time here at the Swansea.com Stadium, it's Swansea 0, Nottingham Forest 2. Welcome back here to the Swansea.com stadium. Pat on the chest and a word of encouragement there for Arno Kalimuendo, who is going to come on in this second half for Nottingham Forest. Big money signing this summer, coming in from Rennes, £26 million after a career best 17 goals in Liga last season. And we're also going to see Jair Cunha as well. The 20-year-old Brazil under-20 international will come on for his debut. Just wonder whether that second goal for Nottingham Forest on the stroke of half-time, Adrian Mariappa, has just maybe twisted Ange Postecoglou's thinking here, in that he can maybe get minutes into some more players that he might not have done had there only been one goal to the good.
Yeah, I should think so. Just looking to see who's come off here, and it is Jesus. You'd be disappointed coming off as a striker on a hat-trick, but he did have a good half. And like you said, it's a good chance for the manager to get minutes into more of his players and see how they're adapting to the new style that he wants to play.
Well, the head of tape has just sorted out Jair Cunha there. He's coming on for Morato, and Morato the only man to remain in the side that played against Arsenal on Saturday. So minutes being managed there, and just maybe the fact that Forest are now 2-0 up has given Postecoglou that luxury of being able to change a couple of players in his side. We are back underway here in South Wales. Adam Eder shielding the ball and winning a throw here. Key will take it into Benson. Forest win it back here. Zinchenko, McAtee, Yates just about returns it to the Ukrainian. From a Swansea point of view, what can they do better in this second half if they're to upset the odds and turn this one around?
Yeah, they have done really well in that first half. To be fair to them, they've won the ball, you know, high up the pitch when Forest were trying to play out a good few times. But the times they have got caught, they have got punished. And that bit of quality that Forest have, that extra bit of quality, the Premier League quality, has just shown. But they need to just remain in the game, stay in the game, like I said before, be tighter in between those lines, stop Forest playing through the lines, because that's when they've looked dangerous.
Forest not quite regaining the ball. Swansea need a quick way back into this one. Here's Casey. Benson. Samuel Smith. All quiet here around the Swansea.com at the moment. The fans might spring into life if they can fashion something here, which they might as well with Gonzalo Franco. Benson. Key. Flicks up off the heel there of Jair Cunha.
The fans are quiet, but a goal just before half-time will deflate the stadium. Swansea, for all their good play and good play there again, still limited to shots from outside the area. They need to try and get their wingers, their forward players, openings a little bit higher up the pitch.
Just goes to show how in a low-scoring game like football, timing can be absolutely everything, even though you're 2-0 down, but right on the stroke of half-time, it really gives everyone a sinking feeling.
Yeah, it just looked like it just knocked the stuffing out of them a little bit, even though they have started this second half bright like they did the first half. Sometimes it's hard not to feel that. They'd have had to regroup, because apart from the earlier goal, they would have thought they'd done really well in the game, created some opportunities. You know, the referee gives the right decision on the penalty, we could be looking at a different game.
Back with Fisher. Galbraith, that's a nice ball to Yalkuye. Urging players to fly ahead of him here. He's on. Yalkuye going down. Yates was the man with the challenge. Omin. Jai Cunha out. Key hasn't got the secret to success. And now Hutchinson. Pull there. And the one-time Jamaica international. And it's a free kick here to Forest.
Showing his pace, just carrying the team up the pitch. And a tug on the shirt from Key. Hutchinson has looked really bright. He showed his quality a few times. But he's been really good in the defensive shape as well. You know, happy to get back in there, work diligently for the team.
Didn't have the most amazing season with Ipswich last season. Jean Victor slipping and sliding.
And still calm as ever, playing out.
Just about getting away with things so far. Certainly been an interesting introduction to life in English football for him. He's actually strongly linked with a move to West Ham, but it was Forest that got the deal done for him in the end. And they ended up re-signing Łukasz Fabianski, having released him in the summer. Well, there has been a bit of unrest, if you like, off the field this summer. In the last week or so, Richard Montague left his role here at Swansea as the director of football and head of scouting. James Morgan Stanley departing too. Always reasonably telling when those changes come off the back of a transfer window. But Swansea have solid foundations so far for a good championship campaign. Their 8th season back in the championship after relegation from the Premier League in 2018. Which ended a club record 7-year stay in the division. Saw them finish as high as 8th back in 2015 under Gary Monk, who had good times here.
No doubt they'll want to get back to those good times in the Premier League. And he talks about building foundations, and we can see some of them here. They're playing some really good football. You know, they're not going to play against a side with the quality of Nottingham Forest every week. You can see why they're doing so well in the Championship.
They do have one of their closer away games to come at the weekend as they travel up to the second city to take on Birmingham. They've had an up and down start to life back in the Championship under Chris Davis. Key. Casey. Great play by Benson. Showing glimpses of his old self here. Manuel Benson jinking past them all. Couldn't quite find on there with the pass. Yalkuye. Again claiming handball. Oh, really good play there by Kali Muendo. Forest had some big business to do this summer. The likes of Anthony Elanga moving on and joining Newcastle for Champions League football instead of Europa League that Forest got in the end. They certainly had to put the money into those attacking areas. Yates. He can go a long way here, Yates. Postecoglou will want his side to try and keep the intensity up in this second half. It would be easy for them to drop off at this point, I think.
I think he'd be happy with, you know, the team having the amount of control that they're showing in this game.
Lovely pass there by Zinchenko. McAtee, Yates. A third would seal Forest's passage through, no doubt about that. Foul there by Savona. Yalkuye wanted to get on with things, but it will be a yellow card here for the Italian.
He knew he just got done there. Wanted to stop the counter-attack. forced to trip him up. Yalkuye looking bright, as he did in the first half. You know, he's full of energy. But Forest, back to your question though. You know, Forest have showed control. They've counter-attacked at pace when they've needed to. But the times when they've had the opportunity to show their quality, play through the lines quickly, they've done it. And they've capitalised on it. You know, Swansea, the times when they've been able to do that and get through, they just haven't managed to get, you know, just break that last line of the defence, get behind the defence, where they're getting shots on goal from inside the area.
Hutchinson, Douglas Luiz charging into his man. Zinchenko. Douglas Luiz back again and over by McAtee. Well, everyone expected a flag to come that never came. And Forest could easily have made it 3-0.
They've played some great football at times, Forest. They're looking like they're just going to walk the ball in the net there. This onside, McAtee still disappointed that he didn't hit the target. He's shaking his head. He's got some great quality in that left foot.
Referee Bobby Madley going to his book there. It's been a feisty match at times. It's a yellow card by the look of things for Cameron Burgess here. He goes into the book. Yellow cards are competition specific here in England, so it doesn't count towards your league total. 2 yellows in your band for the next game. Here's Casey. Only 20, but will be a hardened defender, you would imagine, by the end of this championship campaign. Forest emerge with it. McAtee. Zinchenko. Yates, lovely drop of the shoulder there, and feeds Arno Kalimuendo. Chance, and a good block it was by Burgess. Bakwa. Savona. Bakwa. Forest trying to turn on the style here, but they still have a job to do. Savona, McAtee. For what you can technically say is a Forest reserve side, given they made 10 changes, they've got some excellent footballers out there.
Yeah, they do. The times when they can just turn the screw and really show their quality, they have done. They've just cut straight through Swansea at times.
Foul here by Key, keen to avoid eye contact with the referee. But he's not going to avoid picking up a yellow card. Apologies if he picked up some bad language there. Swansea fans not impressed with referee Bobby Madley. So he gave a yellow card for this challenge.
Yeah, as a right back, sometimes you just wait for the opportunity just to, you know, get a bit of contact on your winger. It was late. And you're always running the risk of getting a yellow card there.
Well, a touch of cramp here for Ishe Samuel-Smith, who is making his debut tonight. Only has 7 appearances in his career previously, all in the EFL Trophy with Everton and Chelsea's under-21 sides. It's a big step up for him. Penalty shout here on the Swansea.
Douglas Luiz just trying to run beyond in the box there. They were trying to get a, thought it might have been a foul for Key. But yeah, Douglas Luiz, I think he is offside on that one there.
And the flag did actually go up in that previous move. And that yellow card shown to Burgess for something that he said in the ear of the referee, and he's continuing to have a word with the referee in his role as captain. He does have that ability this season to maybe be a little bit more forceful with his comments. But there is a fine line, and he crossed it.
You can always get away with a little bit more when you're wearing the armband, but frustrations probably showing a little bit.
Well, Forest not willing to rest on their laurels here, as if it wasn't bad enough for Swansea already. They're about to throw on England international Morgan Gibbs-White and Callum Hudson-Odoi as well. How's your luck if you're a Swansea defender?
Yeah, it's not something you want to see coming off the bench. When you're trying to get back into the game, if you're going to try and push on at some point and maybe leave a bit of space behind you, these are the players who are going to capitalise on that.
But if you're Ange Postecoglou, is that getting those kind of players to keep ticking over? They don't want to bring them all the way down here to just sit on the bench. What was the reason for that kind of change?
Yeah, just still the start of the season. Players getting into their rhythm. And we talked about the change of style, the new philosophy. It's a chance for them to go and get proper match minutes doing it. So they can be ready for it's what's going to be a really long season, so many games. Forest have got a big squad with a lot of quality in it, but they're going to need all of those players this season.
Galbraith, Benson, who's been a real bright spark for the Swans tonight. They had it easy here against Crawley in round one. They went through on penalties against Plymouth in round two, but it's been a far different task for them here tonight.
It's been tough to break down this Forest side, so even if they manage to get through the midfield, it's been hard. They haven't been able to get behind that defensive line. You see why as well. Murray Hutchinson's sprinting back there, even though they're 2-0 up. He's had a hand in both goals. He's sprinting back to catch the winger. He has to double up with his fullback.
Douglas Luiz coming off. What have you made of him tonight?
Yeah, he's had a good game. He's looked comfortable, he's looked confident on it. He showed the quality that we've seen anyway at Aston Villa. For him it would be about getting back into the rhythm of English football, and he'll be looking forward to getting in those Premier League games again, where he's done so well.
Hudson-Odoi coming on for Dylan Bakwa. And return here for Morgan Gibbs-White as well, who had a 6-game loan spell here with Swansea from 2020 to 2021 when he was on the books at Wolves. He's on the ball here. Zinchenko. Yates touched on there by McAtee, and Cani Muendo! Another excellent Forest goal, but it's not going to count.
Superb play once again. Zinchenko just rolling inside. Talked about that before. What he's done for Man City, what he's done for Arsenal. Doing it again here for Forest now, in a Forest shirt, creating the extra man in midfield and showing the quality that he has, playing those forward passes.
So a triple change here for Swansea as they try to inject some life into their night. Ishe Samuel Smith's debut is over. He comes off, as well as Gonzalo Franco. He's also making way. They're also going to withdraw Manuel Benson here, which is perhaps the surprising one, given how he's looked quite bright tonight.
He has looked bright. But Swansea, they'll be feeling the same as well, giving their players minutes. Young Samuel Smith at left back. You've got the pace that's coming on and you're getting cramped. And probably the manager's thinking, right, it's a good time to change. Benson will be a big player for them in the league as well. So he'll be just managing minutes for his players the same way that Postecoglou's managing minutes for his players.
In terms of the trio to come on, Josh Tymon, a like-for-like change at left-back. Nalke Widell, the Sweden international, comes into midfield, missed the game against Hull here at the weekend because of a groin injury. And as if we didn't have enough Brazilians already, Ronaldo is coming on to the right-hand side of midfield for Swansea. If they're not watching this game in the likes of Rio and Sao Paulo tonight, they must have something pretty good on. The Brazilians out in force.
They are. How many did you say are on the pitch?
A lot.
Probably make a good quiz question, don't we?
And that's without Murillo, who's not here. Gibbs-White, Zinchenko. Swansea with some fresh legs in their side now. Ronaldo. Almost able to recover it. Gibbs-White. Kuye. Galbraith. Ronaldo. Signed from the lesser-known side called Grêmio in Brazil and Nápoles in 2024. It's a good goal-scoring run at the moment to his name. He's got 4 in all competitions this season, all in his last 5 games. Scored the second here against Hull. Miscue there by Burgess. Well, under Sheehan, they've won 32 points in the Championship so far. Only Burnley, Bristol City and Middlesbrough have taken more points in his time here in South Wales so far. And his side's on the attack here. Another brutally strong challenge there by Jair Cunha. He's carried on his run. Here's Kalimuendo. Jair Cunha didn't quite have the grace in the opposite penalty area. And this is some run here. Galbraith forcing Ida wide. And Bolly making the block. Kuye, another strike from him, which takes a hefty deflection and yields a corner for Swansea.
Terrific break from Galbraith there. But if anything, I think it really does show just the difference between the two sides. That final ball, the final pass from Galbraith there, just sending striker too far out wide. When Forest have had those opportunities, they've really managed to just capitalise on it.
Just about halfway through this second half. Pass key, but headed in! Cameron Burgess with his first for the club. And if you thought this game was over, think again, because Swansea are right back in it.
That is a superb header from the captain. Here's a problem when you're marking zonally. You haven't got someone marking probably the biggest player in the Swansea shirt. He just gets a free run, wanders in ahead of Bolly, glances the ball on target. Just doesn't take much. The delivery is superb, on the money, and it's a superb header from the captain.
And this game suddenly has a different complexion. The crowd have come alive again. Plenty up on their feet. Remember, if this one is level at the end of the 90, no extra time, we're straight to pens. Free kick to Swansea. And maybe it's a good job that Forest have got some of their more experienced senior pros out there now, because they might need them.
Really hear that crowd now. That'll give the players a lift. You know, they give the crowd something to cheer about, and they'll back them now.
Well, you might not know it from the expression on his face, but Sheehan will be a happy man that his side have got something for their performance tonight. Can they get something more? Burgess again, and again, but not again. Well, his expression tells you everything you need to know. This game really should have been safe from their point of view. They've got forward into positions where they've had openings to make it 3-0. Jay Cunha. Trying to be taken here by Widdell. Free kick for the foul by Widdell. "20 minutes to go. Hard to predict how this one's now going to end up. Edu here watching tonight, a man brought into the Forest fold by their now well-known owner, Evangelos Marinakis. He apparently the man that had one too many disagreements with Nuno that saw the Portuguese off. He was actually brought in by Marinakis to have a role more overseeing his network of clubs at the start of this year, but decided in the summer to give him a more prominent role with Forest, having previously had a major influence at Arsenal. Hudson-Odoi, great save by Fisher. That one looked destined for the bottom corner.
That was a superb save. As soon as Hudson-Odoi cut in onto that right foot of his, I think we all expected just to see just the net ripple there. The keeper, really smart save, strong hand, pushes it past the post. Brilliant save, just keeps his side in it.
There's a corner that Hudson-Odoi will take. Twice the League Cup runner-up at Chelsea. Fans doing their bit here to put him off. And the header over by Gibbs-White. Once a swan. Celebrated by these fans, but very much on the opposition here tonight.
Got a bit too much on that header there, just looking to glance it. A bit too much purchase on it, just heads it over. Good chance for him.
And this is an interesting time here at Swansea. You just saw on the Welsh flag that was hanging behind Hudson-Odoi there the name Modric, and that's because he's a minority owner here these days, along with Snoop Dogg. And that's what he's currently called. Has gone through a few different names in his time.
Yeah, that's a sentence you never thought you'd say.
Didn't think so. Casey. Swansea have got a bit more zip about them at the moment. Burgess going long. Bolly will head those down all day. Gibbs-White. Going in hard once and twice. And he's almost certainly going to pick up a yellow card here. Made that easy for the referee. And it's a booking.
It's good to see players like Gibbs-White coming on fixtures like this, and still just putting himself around, you know, going into tackles for his team. I'll be honest, I still think it's a bit of a harsh yellow card, you know, by my opinion anyway.
But you knew that that second tackle was always going to make him look back, because whoever went in for Swansea was going to take a few more rolls than they might have done otherwise.
Of course, and he was always going to buy it, but yeah, listen, I think we're at a dangerous point in the game where, you know, we still want to see tackles if they're fair and honest. You know, not every foul has to be a yellow card. You know, I think that's one of those occasions there.
But a free kick now for Swansea. In by Timon. It was towards the feet of Adam Eder. The referee asking for assistance from the assistant, but he has decided that it is offside. Marginal.
Yeah, looked close. Zinchenko looked like he was keeping them on at the back post, and they just whipped a wide free kick to the back post, and Burgess managed to get the first contact. And because Forest have got Zinchenko out the back, I just expected them to maybe target that again.
Oh, a problem here. Ronaldo's going down. Slight kick on his ankle. Voices raised. This game still very much alive here with 15 minutes to go. And Swansea have nothing to lose. Zinchenko. Gibbs wide. Yates. McAtee. He's just drifting out of the game in the last 10 or 15 minutes. Hudson-Odoi. Zinchenko. Hudson-Odoi. Zinchenko. Forest forced back, but still in possession. Left by Kalimuendo. Hutchinson. Zinchenko. Gibbs wide. Here's Amari Hutchinson. Gibbs wide. Hutchinson. Forest starting to purr, but didn't have a shooting chance at the end of their move. They might yet. Hutchinson. Forces another corner.
Forest are probing. They're having to move the ball quickly. They've, you know, got a lot of passes off, but I've got to take my hat off to the Swansea side, because the way that they're pressing, you know, they've had to be in a low block at times, but the intensity that they're still going with, you know, it's commendable. They're obviously a very, very fit side. You know, they're showing it. They've had to be, and the energy's still there.
Callum Hudson-Odoi with his latest corner kick in towards Yates. It was an awkward one for him to take on.
A great ball in the box, to be fair. And Hudson-Odoi, difficult one to try and wrap your foot round. And it's bouncing.
Casey. Wouldn't quite say Forest are hanging on here, but Swansea certainly committing resources forward in their hope of finding an equaliser, which looked pretty unlikely at the break. Forest might put this game out of sight if they can get the third here. Hutchinson. And the ball out of sight for everyone in Forest red in the middle. Star striker Jan Vypotnik has been called for. 4 goals in his last 4 Swansea appearances. 5 in his last 6 in all competitions for club and country. The Slovenia international is on, and he will put himself about, no doubt about that.
Certainly a man in form, and if you're in a game where you need to try and get a goal, try and get yourself level, having him to come off the bench is not a bad thing.
Well, but Forrest could be in here with Yates. Touched away so delicately by Casey. Vypotnik and Ronald, by the way, the only 2 players to have scored in the league so far this season for Swansea. Kalimuendo, angle tight, and it did matter. Side netting only from the Frenchman.
Swansea just playing themselves into trouble there, playing out from the back, not quite getting it right. Poor finish in the end.
Galbraith, he was certainly impressed tonight. He's been a busy boy in midfield.
He's been very good.
He's actually played in the Europa League previously for his former side Manchester United. Played for them away in Kazakhstan against Astana back in 2019. Ronald wasn't quite sure of the flight of the ball there. Gibbs-White. Swansea is certainly going to have to be economical when they do get the ball now. Jean-Victor. Will be just a 2nd win of the season in all competitions for Forest. Lost each of the last 2 by 3 goals to 0. Kalimuendo. Yates. Gibbs-White. One more to Zinchenko.
Swansea again just happy to drop into that low block, but I'll tell you what, the energy they've shown today has really surprised me. They've just kept going, the intensity, they've kept themselves in the game. We talked about that goal just before half-time, you know, knocking the wind out your sails. They showed great resilience, got themselves back in it, and they're back within a shout now. You know, bringing on their main man as well up front.
McAtee. The options left and right, and Gibbs-White through the middle as well. Kalimuendo. Oh no, Kalimuendo. Hudson-Odoi. Are these missed chances for Forest going to come back to haunt them?
You can't help but think that it might, you know, 4v3 they had at one point there. Hudson-Odoi. It looked like the defender, Key, just got back across there, put him off. But they look like they're just trying to, they almost just want to see the game off. Swansea just not letting them. You know, they're just still there, just almost being a thorn in their side. And it looks like this game's just going to go all the way to, you know, to the end. Swansea definitely aren't giving up. And certainly for the rest of the season, regardless of the result or how this goes, you know, these Swansea players will take loads of confidence from it. Played against some real top players in that Forest side today, and they've more than competed. They've had some real good moments. You know, scored a great goal from a set piece. But their press, the way they've played, you know, definitely something they can take confidence from going into, you know, the rest of the league.
Well, he's had a few different influences. Alan Sheehan, he was first a player coach at Oldham, then became the first team coach at Luton Town in 2022. And then when Nathan Jones went to Southampton, he went with him there, but left just 3 months later. Things didn't work out at all for Nathan Jones on the south coast. Looks like Ibrahim Sangare will come on here for Forest, probably just to try and give that defence a little bit of extra protection, and it's James McAtee who's taken off.
By the looks of it, they don't want to just keep chucking numbers forward. You know, the Forest defence have stood pretty resolute so far, but just it looks like Postecoglou doesn't want to take any chances, wants to just see the game out.
McAtee, though, has shown moments of brilliance, hasn't he? And played a crucial role in that second goal.
He has, and those moments, you know, he's got real quality, and you know that'll be big for Forest going forward this season.
Bolly in a physical battle there with Vipotnik, who replaced Adam Eder up front. Kalimuendo pulled down on halfway by Burgess, who has to be careful. He has already been yellow carded. Hutchinson. 5.5 minutes left to go, and one or two fans starting to think about making an early exit here. Confirmation of that Forest change. Things not quite clicking for the tricky trees right now. Gibbs White might be able to change that here. Kalimuendo. Sangare. Hutchinson on his right. Hooked out by Widdell. Yakuye. So throwing to Swansea, and he can't find a match ball close enough, but told to pause here. There's going to be a change here for Swansea, and they are going to take off Malik Yakuye, who has a bit of bite to him in midfield as well, doesn't he? As well as being a very tidy footballer. And the man on in his place is Liam Cullen, who was their top scorer last season with 11.
Yeah, Forest just can't see off Swansea at the moment. And Swansea obviously making an attacking change as well. I really believe they can get back in this game.
Cullen scored twice against Nottingham Forest the last time the two sides met in the Cup. It was an FA Cup fourth round tie here in 2021. Swansea hammering Forest by 5-1. It is their first ever meeting in the League Cup here tonight. A competition that Postecoglou won in Scotland twice with Celtic in back-to-back years.
Shown he's taken this cup game more seriously. There was a lot of quality on the pitch. I'm sure he'll want to do well in the cup competition again.
Widdell. Casey. Key. Forest have been threatening for quite some time to grab a third goal. They have a chance from a set play here after Yates was felled. The yellow card is back out here. It's going to be a sick booking in this game, this time for the substitute Widdell.
They have been threatening. Swansea just playing themselves into a little bit of trouble there. Galbraith, even though he's been very good all night, obviously reluctant just to clear the ball, you know, still trying to play out, still trying to play, you know, intricate pass down the line, just get caught. It's a good place for, you know, for Forest now, for an attacking set piece.
Zinchenko is the man standing over it here. We've seen his free kick ability previously. Puff of the cheeks from the Ukrainian. Chance for him to make his mark, but failing to do so. Postecoglou takes a look up at the clock to see how long his side have got to hold out for here. If they do win 2-1 and they've been holding on towards the end, do you think he'll be going in and giving the players a bit of a talking to, or just accepting it for what it is and say, look, we came here to win, we've won, and move on?
Yeah, listen, I think when you make 10 changes to a side, you want those new players to gel. They've definitely showed their moments of quality. Could they have seen the game off earlier? Probably. But I think the most important thing in the cup game is getting through to the next round.
Here's Zinchenko. They could finish it here, but Burgess heads behind, and with Swansea wanting to apply pressure themselves, they're the ones pinned back inside their own area.
Yeah, great work from Amari Hutchinson again. You know, cutting inside from the right this time. Zinchenko. Great ball to the back post. Still going up and down that wing. All the players that have come on, the lads that have started for this Forest team, you know, they look like they've all got a point to prove. And they do, because the squad is big. You know, places will be up for grabs.
The players spread around the field. And there's a Forest corner they're wanting to take short. Gibbs-White. Hutchinson, they have the 2-on-1 out there. Amari Hutchinson, dazzling feet. The key with an old-fashioned hoop. Well, 6 minutes of added time to come. And that's time enough for Swansea, but first, they need to get the ball.
You heard the lift from the crowd there. And you just raise their spirits. These Swansea players will still believe. They've got time. All they need is a chance.
Sangare. Hudson-Odoi. Zinchenko. Bolly. Zinchenko again. The extra man in midfield there for them. Well, apart from the goals, there have only been 2 shots on target. It's been a night of missed chances. Neither goalkeeper has had a busy evening. But Muendo here going down. And it's offside. I thought the referee there might have a decision to make whether it was in or out of the penalty area. But the assistant spotted there'd been a run illegally made beyond the back line.
I think the referee blew for a foul there, if I'm honest. He looked up, saw the linesman had put his flag up. Saved Burgess there. It was a great run from Muendo. He just didn't time it to perfection. Burgess just gets away with one.
Ronaldo. Key. Almost a third of the way through added time already. Spot there was Cullen. Who has faded in this second half. Cullen. That's a nice combination. It's 2-2! It's Big Shaq Vipovic who gives Big Hands that sinking feeling again. How have they done this? Forest with a second goal at the end of the first half, which looked like it had put them into the next round, and Swansea rescuing it right at the end of the 90.
And it just had to be that man, didn't it? Coming off the bench in great goal-scoring form anyway. You know, gets across his man. Bolly's defended so well all game. But this is what Vipotnik's about. Gets across his man. It's a great finish.
Well, he is the man right now. Here's Big Jan. 5 in 5 for his club. They were not prepared to give in here. And he can see penalties in the distance now.
You could sense that concern from Postecoglou. Obviously, he made the change. McAtee came off. Forest will be ruining all that pressure that they had. those half chances, those moments in the game where they could have just seen it off. You know, Swansea never gave up. The energy levels have been top all game. Kept that belief, the crowd kept that belief, the goal just gave them that bit of hope. Like I said, when you've got a man like Vipotnik coming off the bench, you know, that there will just give you a lift. You just wanted to have one chance.
Football's a funny game, isn't it? We noted it early when Forest were missing all those chances. Time and time again we've seen this kind of thing happen. And there are still 2 minutes left. Sangare gives wide. Sangare, Zinchenko. Forest progressively moving forward, but Timon intercepts. Jay Cunha letting that one bounce. Bit of miscommunication between he and Zinchenko. And he's incredibly conceded a throw here.
This pressure from Swansea, they just haven't stopped running all game. You know, those fans they'll be believing in them. They're giving, you know, them something to believe in. The way that they've just ran for each other, when they've got into a low block, the way they've sprung on the counter-attack. Have there moments where, you know, Forest's quality have shown, yeah. But from a cup performance against a Premier League side, you know, this has been brilliant from them.
Well, is winding up for a long one here. Most clubs seem to have found a long throw specialist in their squad now. Om's the man here. Or maybe not. Still a chance, maybe. Galbraith thought he'd have a crack. His only goal for the club so far came in the 94th minute here against Crawley in this competition last month. And he could have been the hero here. This is surely the last chance. We had 2 lots of penalties in the competition last night, and it looks like a third dose is on the way here. Ten seconds remaining of added time. Can Swansea put themselves through? No, they can't. Kalimuendo away. And then Galbraith! And the rebound! Unbelievable! It's sensational from Swansea! This is why we love football! This is why it's the greatest game on earth! And would you believe it? It is Cameron Burgess, and Ange Postecoglou can scarcely believe what he's seen here.
Postecoglou can't believe it. We can't believe what we just witnessed. No, they defend the corner really well. Galbraith, what a hit that is. Hits the post, but that finish from Burgess. First time, watches it all the way onto his foot. It's a sensational strike. Goes through the keeper. Not sure if he expected it. Oh, but from a home performance against a Premier League side, what a performance from Swansea.
Time almost up here. The referee only adding on a few seconds here for the celebration. Forest about to crash out unless they can rescue it. Hutchinson in. On it goes. Key's header. Grabbed by Fisher. And Swansea have done it. An astonishing end here in South Wales. Alan Sheehan not showing too much emotion, but his sides have knocked out Premier League Nottingham Forest when it looked like they might have been dead and buried at half-time. Great spirit shown here by the Swans, and they go through to the last 16. And Postecoglou wondering how on earth his side have got themselves into this position.
From being in complete control at half-time to losing the game right at the end. Postecoglou will not be happy. You know, they missed opportunity after opportunity. They were knocking on the door, couldn't get rid of Swansea. They just hung in there. As soon as they got that goal, they just had that bit of hope. They played so well all first half. They were probably unlucky to go in 2-0, to be honest. It wasn't a true reflection of the game. But he'll be delighted. He's not showing it now, but that togetherness from his side, coming back from 2 goals down, 45 minutes later, knocking out a Premier League side with the amount of quality that Forest have in that side, he'll be delighted.
I think he's very much playing the role of modest Irishman out there at the moment. What a sodden night it's been here in Swansea. For the fans will be walking home, not caring one jot whether they're soaked to the skin after this one, because this was a performance for the ages. With 92 minutes gone, they were losing 2-1. 5 minutes later, Swansea winning by 3 goals to 2. And no need for penalties in the end. Burgess with a double, the second a belter. And they go through to round 4 of the Carabao Cup. Full-time score here at the Swansea.com stadium. Swansea City 3, Nottingham Forest 2.